Hi, I'm Harish Goteti, founder of Cloud Optimize. Welcome back to my channel. Today is an interesting session. This is another track that I'm starting. One is an AWS observability track that's going on, and now today I'm going to start talking about AWS Well-Architected Framework. So this will be an entire a separate list. You can call it a playlist or a track, which we are going to talk a lot about architecture, whereas the other one is really about monitoring and really getting the observability solution in place for your business. So this is about getting the architecture right for your business. So today I'm going to just introduce you to AWS Well-Architected Framework, and then we are just going to continue these discussions around Well-Architected Framework in the future sessions. I'm pretty excited because architecture, as you know, I worked as an architect for a very long time, designed multiple solutions on cloud, on-premise, hybrid architectures. Architecture is like the core thing that I used to do for a really long time in my corporate career, and now I'm pretty excited to do the same with my clients on AWS, and for that reason, I mean, AWS has a very well-defined framework for architects to follow when you build excuse me, when you build and deploy solutions on the cloud. So that's what AWS well-architected framework is about. So let's jump in. So AWS well-architected framework. So AWS well-architected framework describes key concepts, design principles, and architecture best practices for designing and running workloads in the cloud. So I mean, AWS has thousands of customers, and they implemented different kinds of architecture, and they have enough learnings to know what is the right way to do, and that's what this framework is about. So these are very specific concepts, design principles, and best practices that every architect should follow, and so that they can build the best possible system for the client or for the business. So that's what this framework is all about. So the framework in itself has 6 pillars, and we're going to look at each pillar. So the 6 pillars are, the first one is operational excellence pillar. It's really about achieving operational excellence through building monitoring systems, improving processes and procedures. So when you run AWS operations without monitoring, you're risking your business, right? At the same time, if you don't have a process to provision systems, to delete systems, and procedures to do those things, your operations are all over the place. So this operational excellence pillar helps you understand, or helps you build the required processes and procedures so that you achieve operational excellence within your AWS operations. That's the first pillar. The second one, a security pillar, it's obvious, protecting information and systems, right? So there is no that doesn't need any explanation. So that's the second one. The third one is a reliability pillar. So we define a system, or we design a system and build a system to do a certain thing, and a reliability pillar is all about making sure that system is performing what it is supposed to do, and not doing something else. That's number one. Second thing is, when a failure happens, I mean, like like Amazon's AWS CTO says, everything fails, right? So if when system fails, or when the failure happens, then how quickly your system can recover and meet the demand, right? So that is, this reliability pillar explains you gives you all the concepts and best practices on how to design your system so that they do what they're supposed to do, and also they go ahead and work. When something fails, they can quickly recover from it and continue to perform, right? So that is the pillar number 3. Moving on, pillar number 4 is a performance efficiency pillar. When we talk about performance, the thing is, for any technical person, is get the maximum out of it, right? A maximum performance from a system. Thing is really, do we need that kind of maximum performance throughout the year? Do we need that kind of performance every single day, every single hour? So the performance efficiency pillar is really about achieving the maximum performance required through structured allocation of IT resources. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to, right? So just because you have an AWS subscription and companies pay, and you can pay for it, your business and can afford it, you don't need the best of, you don't need 100 servers running in parallel for, for 10-15 customers, right? So it is really getting the maximum performance that is required for your business to achieve its business outcomes, but to structured allocation of IT resources. That's performance efficiency pillar. Then we have the cost optimization pillar, which is pillar number 5. Like word, I mean, it's obvious, right? So it is really about reducing and avoiding unnecessary costs by over allocating resources. So, or not just over allocating resources, there is a lot to it. Cost optimization. So everything, for example, if we take S3 cost optimization, so versioning is a very big thing. Businesses use versioning to make sure they don't delete accidentally, but what happens is over a period of time the versions get stacked up and they take a lot of they contribute to the cost a lot, right? So that is another big thing that we need to understand. So there are so many things, just not over allocating resources, it's all about how do you manage your resources as well. So the cost optimization really helps you reduce unnecessary costs and also avoid unnecessary costs by over allocating resources. So that's cost optimization pillar. Finally, we have the sustainability pillar. Sustainability pillar is really minimizing the environmental impact by running cloud workloads. You may say, hey, what am I? I mean, I'm running on, I don't even have the hardware. What am I, how am I responsible for the sustainability, right? AWS offers something called, has something called shared responsibility model, even for sustainability. For example, the way, so there are so AWS runs the data centers. AWS runs these backup generators that power the data centers, electricity that powers the data centers, right? So that if they can reduce it, they're actually what that is. They are like directly contributing to the environment. So sustain. So if they can figure out a way to use more bioefficient fuels or electricity and stuff like that, they can do it. So how are we responsible for it? It is again being responsible about the workloads you run on AWS. Let's just say you have the biggest servers that AWS can offer, and you have 100 of them when you require only 30 of them. Let's just assume you are doing that because you can afford it. So the remaining 60 or 70 servers are running without any requirement. To run that, you need electricity, you need water, you need so many to cooling those data centers. This lot that goes into it, so you are indirectly responsible for the sustainability as well. So your responsibility, when I explain these pillars in detail for in each session, we'll go into much deeper about these aspects of it. But really, as a customer, AWS customers, we are responsible to make sure we run the workloads that we need for the business and not really overdo it, and that way you can contribute your share to the sustainability efforts of AWS. So that's about sustainability pillar. Then let's talk about the resources. So there is a AWS well-architected homepage. That's the link over there. And then we also have an AWS well-architected labs. So as an architect, I recommend, if you're an architect or you are building if you are responsible for building systems on AWS, then AWS well-architected labs are something that you must do. You have to complete. So there are a lot, but over a period of time you can complete them, right? So that is about the resources that helps you get more knowledge on AWS well-architected framework. I hope this is a good introduction for AWS well-architected framework, and you guys understand what this is about. So if you're an AWS architect or or aspiring to become one, I strongly recommend you understand the AWS well-architected framework before you even start studying for the exam, because studying for the exam, understanding the questions and passing is one thing, but really understanding the philosophy of AWS, what they want to accomplish, what they are offering to their clients, all the customers, is really the key. So well architected framework is the starting point, if not the starting point of to enter into the AWS world as an architect. So I hope this video is useful. If yes, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to share a lot of content on AWS that will really be useful for for businesses. So the way I structure these videos are twofold: one for technical people, and two for business owners or IT directors or people who are in leadership role and running a business with AWS, right? So the videos are more or less targeted towards both the personas. So you will see some hands-on technical stuff, and most of them are really around for management to be able to make better decisions around AWS for their business. So I hope this video is useful. Go ahead, like and subscribe this channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk in the next video.